Alright guys, so for today we're gonna need a pencil, eraser, and a sharpener. Today we're gonna do a portrait and it's gonna be monochromatic, meaning using only one color, so you can use a color if you like. But basically we're gonna do different values of the same color. So for example, if you're using your pencil, you're gonna do a small value scale to start with. Our darkest value is gonna go first. Then each time you start going lighter and lighter and lighter. And the last one is white, right? So this is 1, this is 3, and this is 5. Okay? So we have our darkest value, our medium, it's gonna be the number 3, and 5 is gonna be just white, no shading. Like you can choose any picture, any image of Rosa Parks. I'm gonna be working with this one. And let's go, let's start. So I'm gonna start with here, the top and bottom line, right? Then a middle line. Whenever you're making a line inside, this 2 here is gonna be lighter, okay? Because we're gonna erase this later, so let's do that. And now let's connect the top one to the bottom, but since we're doing a face, it's gonna go like this. So it's basically half a circle. This is gonna be our initial shape. Right, so line, and then go inwards to the chin. So we start like this. And then we have our middle line here. These are where the eye is going to be, right? This middle line. Then let's do the middle of the middle, which is between this one and this one. We're gonna do another soft line here, right? This is where the nose is gonna be. You don't have to write this, I'm just letting you know. And then between this one, the end of the nose, and the chin is gonna be another one. This is where the lips are going to be. Very simple. All right, and then let's start now with the eyes. I'm gonna zoom in my picture so I can open the window. There you go, much better. The eyes are like half a circle and then half a circle on the bottom, right? And then inside a small circle. I'm gonna erase this because it's too big. So just make sure it's here. Yeah. Already like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my medium value here, very light. Later on I'm gonna start adding more, but I'm just gonna go right there and start. And where I see my eyebrow, I'm just gonna go darker, like my medium dark, so number 2 value. I'm gonna go here. Right there. And remember, this is just a beginning shape. Later on we're gonna adjust it to like match the actual face, right? So for example, this was a little bit out. I'm gonna start going in for the hair, you know, just shaping in, just blocking in the shapes, blocking in the shapes. Actually, there should be more here, like a little bit more. Now we're gonna do the other eye, right? Half a circle. Go, same thing, small circle here. This actual eye is a little bit bigger. It's looking the opposite way. The tear ducts here. I'm gonna go over here. There you go. If this is too hard for you, just start making your own way of drawing each step. I hope you're not frustrated, but if for a reason you start getting frustrated and you feel like this is too hard, just make up your own way of drawing eyes. You know, it's similar to the picture, okay? So just observe and try to match the lines from the photo to your drawing. Okay, that's what I'm doing here too. I'm trying to match. That's all it is, guys. A matching game. Well, if you're doing a representational drawing, yes. So now I'm starting to draw the other eyebrow. I'm shading it. I'm not even, you know, if you feel comfortable, you can shade it in two right away. Or you can block it. You can try to start with a simple shape and then go ahead and shade it later. Okay, so this is a little bit like that. It's not so dark here, so it's medium to light shade. Make sure that when you're looking at the image and you're shading, that the values match the image. You know, so if it's a little bit lighter, then make sure that you're shading in very light with your pencil. And if another place is darker, then you do the same thing. You start trying to match the values. Now here, for example, you see the line is not so straight in her face. So I'm gonna erase this line and then I'm gonna make another one that matches the shape. It's a little bit better. Yeah. Right. So I'm constructing it. I started first very simple, and now I'm constructing it. This is still pretty similar. We didn't do the mouth, so let's start with the mouth now. We have our middle line here, the last line. I'm gonna start strong. And then let me zoom in a little bit more. Oh, that's it. That's as much as I can actually. Well, there you go. Let me put it a little bit higher then. Awesome. So let's start. I'm gonna do an outline of the lip first, and then if you notice the photo, the lip is like almost a dark, like a number 1 value, or like a number 2. So I would say let's do a number 2 value, so it can be a little bit different. And number 1 is gonna be the line that's in between the lips. Yeah, so you can differentiate a little bit. Okay, so then let's do here number 2 value. Good. And then the bottom lip is actually like a number 2 and a number 3, and even a little bit of like number 5, because if you see in the lip there's a little bit of highlight. So we're gonna have to, we can shade in first, right, the bottom lip, like this, and number 2, only the outline, just shade it in. Oh yeah. And then it gets softer, a number 3, and then a number 5 here in the center, I would say. But like we can even shade it in and then go over it with our pencil, like this is an eraser, like highlighting it. Yeah, okay. She's smiling, so the line ends nicely up. Okay. And then now we see a casting shadow under her nose. So I'm gonna start with the shape, like of the nose here, just the shape. So I'm just gonna make a line, a gestural line. Let's adjust where the nose ends, right? Here too, here as well. And now I'm gonna go over it with my darker value. I'm gonna follow the same line I made, but I'm doing a darker value, right? Here, to create that illusion of three-dimensionality. Now here is a medium, light, medium, very light. Now we're just gonna start shading in and trying to match the values that you see in the image when you shade in. So for example, here was actually a little bit darker, so let's make the lips darker so it won't blend in with the face. There you go. The chin is also here, it has a little bit of this. Okay, now this face, remember, I'm gonna start chiseling a little bit more of her face, like this, and this here, it's a little bit more round. So let's go. It's gonna be a medium to dark shade. Here is a little bit darker. Here's a little bit lighter. there's some highlights, so leave that part blank. And here it gets darker again. So number 3. I'm using number 3 and number 4 right now to make these values, different tones on the face. There you go. It's coming out. Okay. Not perfect, but we're here to learn, so it's okay. It's okay if it doesn't look exactly the same, because we need to practice more in order for us to get better at this. You know, overnight we cannot get good. It comes with practice. So here the nose is a little bit darker, but not as dark as this part right here. So I'm just gonna keep going, shading this part. There's a little bit of highlight in the nose, like the straight line here, but I'm gonna make that a little bit, I'm gonna erase that so I can make the highlights. Okay, that's looking good so far. There are lines here. Let's make these lines, and then from here we go ooh, 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 ooh. And then 2 lighter, and then same thing here. Okay. The important thing is that you don't give up, right? So if you're finding this a little bit too challenging, like I said before, just find your own way of creating this. When you do your values, when you're shading it to different values, try to find a way to make it your own and make it different. And as long as you don't give up and you keep going, and then maybe practice another day, you're on your way of getting better at drawing. So it's okay. I'm shading in, I'm trying to match the image, okay? I am rusty too, let me tell you. This is my first time doing a portrait, like a realistic one, in a while. So this is the fun part, the hair. The hair, as you can see, is just very, very dark. So you're gonna go with your pencil and just do your darkest shade, right? And remember that in the middle, she has her hair all part. So we're gonna leave a line here in the middle. And your darkest value. There you go. I like the hair. Okay. In the photo, the hair like is barely noticeable, but we get to see it here, you know, and closer to the tones of the face. Like you can see the difference, the contrast between, you know, the value of the face and the value of the hair. So that's what makes it fun for me, because we can finally see some contrast. We see more of that. This part is tricky though, because we don't really like the left side is tricky, because I honestly do not see the shape of her hair. Like I'm inventing, like this is perhaps how it was, but I'm not 100% sure. So you see, it's okay. So this is gonna go like that. This is gonna be like that. I'm adding a little bit more hair on the forehead. She don't look like she has a big forehead. And then we keep going with this part. This part I could see a little bit better, you know, and it's kind of like trying to match, making sure that, for example, this line, right, matches with the hair. So I go like that, I create this, and then like when the eyes, like these are where the eyes are located, right, in our line that we made. So here where the ears start as well. So we can start making our ear here. And it ends, if you put your pencil, let's see where it ends. I'm putting my pencil in the picture. So it ends almost at the end of the nose, but not really. It ends kind of like here. So our ear is gonna end here too. All right, so the ears are a little bit like that. Okay, and there's a lot of shadow here in the ear, so you can barely see it, and then there's a little bit of hair too, so we're adding that. We're gonna do our darkest shade here, and then our medium to dark shade for the ears, because they're being covered, right? So it's here, we know. And we're gonna do a little lines here too, here as well. Okay, more or less. This line, I made it too thick when it should be just very simple. One line, not too thick. There you go. Okay, that's better. Then soft. There you go. It's a little bit dark, I think. Okay, let's keep going. There should be some hair here on the back too. Now we're gonna do the neck. The neck kind of starts here, so I have to erase a little bit of the hair that I did. And then we're gonna do the neck here. Just a little bit. It doesn't pass the chin. Yep. And then we do this. So it's gonna be, wait a minute. It's gonna be barely like this. There you go. And then it doesn't pass the chin, so it should be up to here. Okay. And then we're gonna draw a little bit of her shirt or her gown. This I'm gonna have more fun with. I'm not gonna be so serious and try to be realistic. I'm gonna combine a little bit of just a little bit of drawing. I'm gonna try to make also the face a little bit more round, because right now, as you can see, it looks very symmetrical, and her face, instead of ending in pointy parts, it was very round. So I'm gonna shade it in a little bit more to give it that illusion, you know. And you can do cross hatching, you know, for your values. If you want to make it a little bit darker in certain areas, you can do cross hatching. That's what I'm doing right now, but I'm doing it very lightly, so it won't look too harsh. Okay, and then here I'm gonna erase a little bit. So, okay, and then I'm gonna cross hatch here too, and the lip, because the lip actually looks too dark for my own good, for my own taste. There you go. And then I'm gonna go over it again with my softer values. Here too, and just leaving one small tiny line there. Here too, there's a highlight, so I'm gonna do a highlight a little bit. And then now I'm gonna go in with more values here on the eye, the